Alright, we're going to work through a quick example of Treecipe, Salesforce Data Treecipe, to produce production-like data for development and testing purposes only. This video we're going to do a simple example, but we got to go through the entire initiation process, which is not a ton. Just these 4 steps right here: initiate configuration file, and then we generate things from there. So let's just get into it. Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P on a Mac. Initiate. This is going to create a Treecipe folder at the root of our project, and it'll prompt us to put in where our objects live in our code base. And this is a traditional project structure here. So for that main default object, so this is where our objects are in here, and so I'm gonna get that relative path in there, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. So click initiation, and it's asking for our directory. This is kind of pulled up basically every directory in our root, and it actually hides out any hidden folders like .vs code and things like that, so we don't get a ton of noise, more than we need, I guess. And then what helps in this step is your folder could be named objects, could be named something else. Hopefully it's named objects, because that's probably helpful to a team environment where people are expecting things to be a certain way. But whatever the case, if you know the name of your folder, you can put some wildcards before and after. So you go */objects, and then you see it kind of pops right up. And what's nice about VS Code and this this field here, this command palette, this input box here, if you get close, it will start bringing things up to the surface that you want. So yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna hit enter, or you can click on it, and that will get us started with our Treecipe folder. And it has our path that we selected in here. And then it also has this property called faker service. Right now it's no fakery, and it could be one day faker-js, which is a node package module, does some similar things to no fakery, and ideally it would work out of the box in a VS Code ecosystem. The one thing with this extension is that it requires no fakery CLI as a prerequisite, which means that we have to install Python and then go from there to import this this module, this library, Snowfakery. But I really like Snowfakery, so we'll see what happens. So once we have that, next step is to generate Treecipe. All these commands are in the command palette, so Command-Shift-P, generate Treecipe. And what we're expecting here is for the code base to look at that provided objects path, and it's going to go in and iterate over each folder in there, grabbing all field files within each objects directory, and producing a YAML file that has a fake recipe to each field. So if we look at this, we have account, fields, and we have some fields in here that we pulled down from the org explorer, and we kind of deleted some other things, but there's no XML in here that talks about the field. Like, there's nothing useful that we can say, hey, this is a text field, this is a date field, this is nothing here. So like, what does our parser do when it gets to fields like this? It'll say, hey, we'll have these to-do items and we need to pay attention to them. Say, hey, take a look at this field. It may be auto-generated, maybe out of the box, or it may need some additional help to get a good fake value in here. And for example, there's a field, out of the box field for account name, which is required, that has no XML details, and so we would need to provide like fake.text or fake.company. One of the things that we have is a boilerplate setup for a few out of the box objects already, so that scenario of fake.company will actually already be handled. So what we're expecting is to see for our objects in here is to see some boilerplate for both account and contact, as well as some field items for these guys that we'll say, hey, to do, we gotta look at these and see if we actually want them in the recipe. So there'll be some like manicuring and cleanup once a recipe is generated, depending on how complex the fields are in each object directory. Real quick, account ID. So this is does have type lookup, so we'll see a to do in there for, hey, this is a lookup. Make sure we line up the reference, and so once we do that, it's probably pretty cool. It's we got this from TechC, where it creates a map of like these reference names that will end up in the collections API format, and it will, like I said, first account gets inserted, it'll get back that insert ID, and then associate it with the kind of like what's supposed to be a unique reference name, and so we use that reference name inside the contact object account ID, and you'll see that in a second. So here we go. No, we're not running Snowfaker yet. We need to generate recipe. Yep, and we'll see. So that is just a one command and done thing. The rest of these commands usually have some type of prompt to walk through. So here we have our boilerplate. You kind of see where it splits up. This is our boilerplate, and here's this in alphabetical order. Here you can see where it actually started going through the fields. And what will happen too, if like say for example field name was in here, there's like a map to API fields of the boilerplate. It will not grab what the name field and add it to do. It will use the actual boilerplate will take precedent. It will not use what's in the code base. So basically, I don't want any of these fields in here for now for this example. Some of them are auto-generated, so I couldn't put any values in them anyways. And then here's our account ID. So I'm gonna look in here as account nickname. I know it's not going to be account nickname in the collections API, so that's kind of like a user experience bug. This should be auto generated like this, account reference, and then it gets auto incremented. So there's one, creating one, it will be one. So what I can do here is take this account reference and put it right here. And with that, I think that's everything we need. We can, sometimes before I didn't do it this time, but before I start tweaking the recipes, I like to commit the initial recipe generation so I can see the diffs with each field change I make from there. So now we're going to, step 3, which is run Snowfaker by recipe. And this is going to bring up all recipes folders underneath generated recipes. So right now there's only one, so there could be a few in here. Good advice to just be tidy, clean up in here. If it's an old set of data artifacts, it doesn't match your data structure. Say you have just clear them out. You don't need them. Don't hoard. I don't think we realize how much we hoard things in the digital space. So just clear it out, clean up. So anyways, little soapbox for you. But yeah, there's our one directory, and that's gonna run. So we chose our one recipe folder, and it's gonna create a data set folder for us under a folder called fake data sets, and this is where all data sets will go. It's got some base artifact files here. It has the original recipe, so kind of duplicating some things. I'm not sure if that's useful or not yet. And then it also has this Treecipe wrapper. So this is also in the recipe. There's a recipe file here, and the wrapper here as well. So these get duplicated, original. And this wrapper, I meant to talk about this, but this is kind of like shows how the sausage gets made. This is how everything comes together in this wrapper field, and then the recipes are built. And you can see this is actually the full recipe that gets outputted into the actual YAML file. But yeah, there you go. Interesting. I think that may be a bug there. Only see the one. Oh, I see. So this does not have the boilerplate. This is just what's in the code base, or what's in the source directory. Okay, so sorry about that. Little sidetrack there. Alright. So now we have, so those are base artifact files. And what it also created is this dataset files for the collections API. And each object is its own collections API file. So here's what got created for account. And you can see the reference ID is generated as account reference 1. And here's all the fake fields that are provided, fake values I should say. Pretty fun. And then here's our contact account ID. Since it was like hard-coded as a string, still account reference 1. What we should expect is to see it created records successfully, both of these. And then when we go to see our account record created, we should see a related list of contacts with this entry. So got a lot of green here. I'm just gonna commit all this. And no terminal needed. I like using the terminal, but this could be for anyone using this who's not too familiar with terminal or haven't quite taken that journey. The VS Code source control extension here is so nice. Yeah, no terminal or nothing. It's really easy. So these are files, are staged, and we just want to say, hey, initial Treecipe, and there that goes. Oh boy. Alright, so now we have, coming back to our file explorer, we have our data sets, and what we're going to do is we're going to do our insert. Where is that? Alright, sorry, let's back up. We're going to do insert data set by directory. And what this is going to prompt us for is, hey, choose your data set, and then choose your the alias of the org you want to insert to, and then we're going to do an override of all or none. Like, do we want all these inserted, no matter if any of them failed beforehand, or do we want to completely stop everything if there's a failure in one of the inserts? So we're going to do false on the override, all or none, or true on the all or none, or no, false on the other. Excuse me, false on the all or none, and so we can see the results. If anything fails, there'll be two different sections for successful results and failed results. So I'm going to insert. It's going to prompt us for all dataset directories. You have to have dataset in this folder. So I gotta think of another way to, because someone may have actual collections API formatted files that can go in here. So I might want to figure out an easier way to add those to be reused. But yeah, anyways, here's our fake data set we're going to choose, and our alias is demo33, and all or none is false. And away it goes. So that will create a folder inside this dataset timestamp, unique timestamp dataset folder. So anytime we try to insert this, it will give us another result in here. So that will be another folder timestamp. So we're building a decent amount of artifacts here. So here's our actual results. And it looks like they both passed. And here's our account, and here's our contact. And so if we go, I'm gonna get collections, the contact, and scooch it over here, so you can see we're looking for Eduardo. And if I go to this file, this record, you can see our contact is Eduardo. So that's our initial walkthrough today. Pretty simple example. We'll do a few different examples where we can do more, show some more complex relationships, work with record type IDs, and work with different field types as well. So thank you.